Hey everybody, Radamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, episode 77. So last episode, we finished up the Volcano taming. And here it is, and I'll show you how it works as it goes, but I actually did want to make two quick changes to this. I want to replace two of the objects here from steel to gold. I think it would be funny for the Volcano taming to be made of the material it spews out. Inverted Sheep mentioned one thing in YouTube comments, which was I should protect my petroleum here from becoming frozen. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's a relatively simple little process where I build a mechanized airlock to stop this super cold hydrogen from mixing with this petroleum, and then a little gas pipe, a radiant pipes here, so that the heat of the hydrogen that is coming in, because the hydrogen coming in is about 28C, will act as a heat sink for the cold petroleum. So that will get set up as well. Whoa, you guys broke that down really fast. So the reason I'm breaking this down, there's two reasons, but one of the main reasons is I want to start conserving steel. If I'm going to be building a second rocket, I am going to need a lot of steel. So everywhere in my base that I have things made of steel that could be some other material, I'm going to make it the other material. For the auto sweeper and the conveyor loader, their overheat temperatures are too low. So I need to make sure to protect them. Their base overheat temperatures is 148C, which would basically break without steel in it. But the conveyor shutoff could be gold. That doesn't really matter. So let's get this rebuilt. All right, another thing I wanted to do is I noticed this is pretty funny. I've been dumping hot petroleum heat into my airlock, which eventually cooked my buddy bud. So I'm going to work to chill the buddy bud. And then I'm also going to do a few other things as well. I am going to add in a liquid lock here. Another one, and then vacuum seal up. Ooh, lime. I needed lime. That was my next point. My next point was I am starting to run out of lime. So the reason why I've been making sure that all the things that are made of steel that don't need to be made out of steel is because I have a limited amount of steel on the map, because I kind of have a limited amount of lime on the map. And I wanted to make sure that I don't run out of steel building a second cargo rocket. So one of the ways to do this is to go to the materials overlay and go to like metal and just like take a look at what things are made out of, right? And try to find steel things that don't need to be steel. I think I was pretty judicious about what I made steel. Like I don't use steel often in construction projects. It was mostly like copper and gold amalgam and lead whenever I could. Lead is one of those, like, you'll just have so much lead that everything that can be made out of lead should be lead, because it's one of those materials you're just not gonna run out of. And then of course the statue's made out of steel, but like I can't help that it had to be. So I think I was pretty good about not using too much steel, but wherever I can reclaim steel, I should, if it makes sense. Now, some things don't make sense, like this space scanner, for instance. This space scanner never really touches hot regolith or anything like that, but it's only 25 grams of steel, which is a quarter of a bunker tile. So there wouldn't be much point getting that steel. That steel isn't important, in other words. It's not a big deal because, you know, who cares? It's just a tiny little bit of steel. So, you know, I need to put my efforts where they're worth, and the effort to remove the steam generator from steel to gold, from steel to gold is worth something, because as we already have proven, gold turbines work just fine. These gold turbines have been uninterrupted use for like an unbelievable amount of cycles now. So, you know, it makes sense to to replace things with gold turbines. But things like auto sweepers in here wouldn't kind of need to be steel, because without it steel, its overheat temperature would be 75C, and 75C cooks in steam. You know, it would get destroyed. And I don't really have any other metals. Like if we take a look at the sweeper, tungsten, too low, too low, too low. Because 75C base plus the 50C is only 125C. It's already about, you know, once it's boiling, it will be 125C in there. Now, once I do space age missions, that math might change. Once I have materials that you can only acquire from space. But for now, that's not the case, and I have to be careful about heat buildup. All right, so one of the things I wanted to do is to cool down my space dock up here. And I want to break this this radiant pipe that has just been dumping hot, not hot, but dumping heat into the room, and get rid of it. That's going to be pretty easy. We're also going to set up the higher docks. So I also wanted to talk about build height. There is some distinct advantages to building at the edge of the map tile like this, and one disadvantage. So the advantages would be, once you're up the edge, as you can see here, in this location right up there, there's only so much regolith that can stack up on you once you're at map edge, which means that there's a limited amount of material and heat that it can produce. So if I was smart, and I didn't know this at the time, but if I did know this, I would have set my space scanner and robo-miners up at the edge here, so that, let me just demo it, so that there could only be as much as 2 tiles of regolith sitting on top to dump, which limits the amount the robo-miners have to work, and limits the amount of, you know, entombment that the space scanners would experience. So it's very, very good to build to the edge of space, most cases. The only case that I would disagree with that is if you're trying to produce heat from space. So if you are trying to make like a water boiler or something like that, using the heat from space, you would want the most amount of regolith and surface area so that you could cook yourself, in other words. And in that case, you would not want to build at the edge of space, because only having 2 little tiles of regolith is not as good as having a mountain of regolith superheating your steel or whatever it is. So in most cases, build at the edge of space, but in some select and rare cases, don't. I hope that is a fair assessment here. All right, so here is our other dock. It is going to look basically identical to docks previous. What is outgassing? Oh, there's some polluted dirt there. That is funny. And all of this will be 7s as well. Now, my space mission is only half over, so it's going to be a little while till I get home. And then here, I'll set this up to 8, because it should be pretty quick. Actually, keep that, but set everything up to 8. Everything else. And put a wheezewort here. Actually, put a wheezewort here. All right, so now we broke that radiant pipe. The coolant has stopped. I need to fix that. Done. And let's mop up all the petroleum laying on the ground. Now, the petroleum is going to be used for a liquid lock, so it has a purpose. I'm going to put a mini gas pump here. And a gas vent there. And the idea is to just have a vacuum between 2 airlocks to really reduce temperature bleed. And that way, I'll be able to cool down my checkpoint. Not that this checkpoint needs to be temperate. It doesn't. It's just, I don't know. It's something I wanted to do. Let's take a look at a volcano. So we finally are cooking with some steam here. As it heats up more and more, all of the water will eventually boil off. And this area here, the petroleum is now going up in temperature, which is good. The worry was that the super cold hydrogen was going to ruin the petroleum and overheat it, or overcool it and make it frozen. But now with this door here, this hydrogen on either side, this hydrogen here won't keep heating up the petroleum, and the two radiant gas pipes, the hydrogen comes in at 86 Fahrenheit and exits at -5. As you can see, it's definitely helping to heat up this petroleum. So this petroleum is no longer at risk of freezing. So, Inverted Sheep, thanks for that tip. Saved me from having frozen petroleum in the future and a ruined liquid lock, so I appreciate it. All right, up here, what I'm doing is setting up another liquid lock, like I said. So let's get that going. I am going to need a bottle emptier. And I'm going to need to bring this insulated tile down a little bit. Let's do mesh tile here. Okay, so we do suffer some meteor damage while we're doing renovations. It sucks, but like, oh well, you know. I could prioritize a little bit higher, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just some granite that gets destroyed. I have many lifetime supply of granite, so that is really not my bottleneck. Well, actually, before we break that down, let's go ahead and power this on. Yeah, it's lead until it reaches space, and then it turns to steel. Definitely min-maxed that to its nth degree. So I mostly want to cool this down, so that if I ever use the jetpacks, I benefit from the Buddy Buds floral scent. It's not that big of a deal. All right, so now that that is pumping, obviously it's going to pump pointlessly for a little bit because it's just circulating air. But we'll have a liquid lock in here shortly. And then that brings me to another requirement going way down into my oil biome. Oh, perfect. We already have crude oil just sitting here, ready to act as a liquid lock, so never mind. I can actually do sweep only, crude oil 9, and then go down to that oil and sweep 9. Oh, that crude oil was going to go into this liquid lock, but I can... there's 2 of them, so yeah, it's no problem. Two liquid locks. Got it. All right. We are looking good. Here, all of the steam has now boiled off. So the next time this erupts, which is in half a day, I'll show you the cooling process and sort of the way it works. I'm sure most of you can envision it. It's really not that complicated, but for those that haven't actually seen the full cycle of cooling and whatnot, might as well show you, right? It would be useful. Okay, so we got our crude oil, then a sweep only for petroleum. And let's pick one of these petroleums. And they'll get around to it eventually. Nope, not this time. Who's doing it? One who is many. Thank you. Oh, just lovely. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, break down this bottle emptier. And now we have a vacuum seal, or we will eventually once this gas pump finishes up. So now, back down to the oil biome. Lest we forget about this. Crude oil sweep only, liquid lock. That's a lot of crude oil, more than we need for a liquid lock, but we'll sweep it. Okay, erupting in 0.3 cycles. I will try to show you, if I remember to show you. So now, let's switch over to petroleum. And go up to our space dock. Pick out another one of these petroleums that look good for a liquid lock. So maybe this one. You want something around like 300 grams. 300 grams is like the correct amount for liquid locks. If you take a look at really all of my other liquid locks, you can kind of tell, well, all the vertical ones. These ones have very low gramming. Let me try to find one that is actually oil. Yeah, 300 and 300, like mid 300s for that, for this. It's sort of the, you know, this is a little lower, 284, but basically 300-ish is what you want if you're doing a sweeps-only liquid lock construction. So, boom. As you can see, at 333, it doesn't even leak. That's sort of the, you know, that's how it's ideal. Any more, and it would leak too much, and it would wash away the crude oil. Too little, and it wouldn't, you know, form a lock that is reliable or whatever. You can have too little is better than too much, though. You know, you could get away theoretically with like 1 gram of petroleum. It's just 1 gram would suffer from thermal shock a lot more easily. And by that, I mean, if it got a little bit too warm, it wouldn't take much for it to boil off or whatever. Not that petroleum is going to boil off, but all right. As this forms a vacuum, it's going to stop the temperature from this hot area from sending heat into my checkpoint. Because there's, you know, I have 4 power transformers and an oxalate refinery, or actually 6 power transformers and an oxalate refinery out here. There is a lot of power out there. And, well, if I could do something to limit it, I shall. All right, so it's not quite a vacuum yet, but it's getting there. And my Volcano. Well, before the Volcano, let's put some mesh tiles back here just for ease of walking. All right, Volcano, are you erupting? Yes. All right, here we go. So here, as you can see, this is the Volcano spilled out some gold. I sort of missed the action, but the gold here is passing temperature muster. If it didn't, oh, here it goes. Here's one that didn't. It just circles around here until it's cool enough that I say, all right, you can go now. So this gold is stubborn, and it's at 244C. And it might need to circulate a little bit more, but as it circulates, it actually acts as a, as it circulates, it's actually heating up my steam to produce more power, to delete more heat. So it's sort of double, right? It's not only is it becoming cooler so that I can send it to my base and it not heat up my base, it's also making the steam warmer, because this gold is obviously warmer than ambient. If it was hotter than ambient, it wouldn't be cooling, and I would need to think of some other solution. But yeah, this is a perfect solution, and it just keeps circulating until it's like, oh, you know what? I'm the right temperature, which will be in a few rotations or whatever. And then eventually what ends up happening is it goes through. The rails act as a thermal conductor, allowing it to interact with its environment and delete heat. And then the water acts to absorb that heat, so it doesn't do so much damage to the environment. And then as we see up here, the gold that I'm sending into the base is like 28 Celsius or 82 Fahrenheit. It's absolutely lovely temperature. You know, that's exactly the temperature you would want. So yeah, Perfect. I think one of the things I'm going to do is do a force sweep of all of the stuff that these bins have been building up. I left one bin untouched so I can copy and paste settings. But I want my dupes to clean up the temporary storage here. All right, so now it's true vacuum in here. If we take a look at the gas overlay, like this, there aren't gases in here at all. So we could break down the pumps and the vent pipes and the power. And we'll need a ladder for that. But as you can see, the Buddy Bud is already benefited. And the whole sort of suit airlock is cooling as well. My Weezeworts are really not able to keep up with the demand of the geyser here. Makes me feel like 4 Weezeworts might be not enough. I could always redesign that sometime in the future. Make it more than 4. But it works good enough that I'm not going to fret about it. And here is the high priority, hey dupes, go clean up please, demand. Takes them a minute, but it's worth to do. It looks like, oh no, we are hauling lumber away. Okay, that's good. I might want to do something with my lumber because I have probably a ridiculous amount of lumber now. Where would that be? It would be in industrial ingredient? Yeah. Oh boy, that's a lot of lumber. So if I wanted to do something with the lumber, well, there's a few things. First, I would need to refine it. Ethanol distiller refines lumber and ethanol. But this is messy. This is a messy process. Likely one that would require me to have... why don't we work on that? Because it would produce... If I went to the effort of... setting up sort of a lumber distillery thing. One of the benefits would be that it would produce power that is truly renewable, and I could use that power before I use any other power. So what I'll do is I'm going to set up some insulated tiles to run that refinery. Or I'm trying to think. Well, here, let me build the refinery real quick, just to show you what I'm thinking about. So I'll build it out of, I don't know, copper ore. I'm just going to stick it here. It's actually not going to be here. I don't intend for it to live there, but I just wanted to demo it as that being the spot. Okay, so these are just because of fertilization, not because of temperature. If it's not because of temperature, don't worry about the plates. Yeah, this Dustcap farm is fine. A little hot, but still fine. All right, so now that there's no longer full bins, I can actually store this stuff. The refined gold, I purposely sort of don't have anywhere to store it other than this bin up here, so that if it was overheated, we couldn't cook the goose, right? The worry was that the Volcano, before I really truly tamed it, was going to spill out some gold, and we were going to put that gold in one of these bins here that was going to cause a lot of damage. I think at this point what I could do is put gold back on the accepted list, because I don't think that my dupes are going to grab it. There is a way for me to really ensure that they don't grab it. And that way would be for me to stick a door in here, like a manual airlock. and then lock it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because basically I don't think my duplicants would ever beat the auto sweeper to sweeping up the gold, but I don't want that to ever be the case, because if they swept up the gold would possibly be at its basic nearly molten point, and that would be really bad. You know, we don't want to be carrying molten gold around the base. I think I don't need to explain to you how problematic that is. So you refine lumber into ethanol. It puts out polluted dirt, and then it puts out carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, if I recall, just goes into the environment in it, which means that this needs to be in an airtight environment. If it needs to be in an airtight environment, it means it needs to be behind a liquid lock, and unless I want my duplicants to get soggy feet, it would need to be external to the base. It also produces some heat, but that's, you know, of course it does. Pretty much all refineries do. So there's a few different spots for it. One, I could put it over here, you know, sort of in this area. And I think that's perfectly fine and fair. And maybe I go ahead and work towards that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten out the... I don't think I need all of this storage here. So I'm gonna flatten out the roof here and get rid of some of the unnecessary storage. And then put my refineries up here. I might have to deal with this polluted water, but it looks like I can deal with it the cheap and easy way. Oh my god, yes. I think you see what I'm going with this. Just let it flow out and spill over. And just go wherever it wants to. I don't really even care where it goes. Ooh, one of my guys got food poisoning. That is not great. I'll have to figure out. It was a mushroom that was bad. Well, there's no food poisoning in my water. So I think it was a mushroom that was just not scrubbed. Luckily, I have a bunch of curative tablets. And he's already cured. It's kind of a non-issue. I'm going to hope that was just an isolated incident where my ore scrubbers here, they were being used or something. And I didn't have more capacity for them. I don't really know what it was, but let's just hope it's not a reoccurring issue or I'm going to have to track it down. Isolated incidents don't worry me as much as reoccurring incidents. Reoccurring incidents means that I have a systemic problem. Isolated incidents means it was just a weird one-off. And it draws different attention for me. So for more steel, I need more iron. Let's put iron on the metal refining list. My critter pop. Well, it's going back up. Another thing to note is that all the polluted dirt that the ethanol process produces can be used to feed like Pacu or something like that. Or maybe one pokey. Right? So there's a few things that like eat polluted dirt. So pokey shells, for instance, their diet includes polluted dirt. So it's possible that I'd tame another pokey shell, which is weird, right? Because like I kind of gave up on that idea. But if I have all this polluted dirt that it's generating, I might prefer to have a pokey eat it than for me to have to compost it. Because composting takes effort and time, and pokey eating it does not, if I automate the process. Or Pacu. Pacu also... Well, no, they eat algae and excrete polluted dirt. My bad. They all do it? Yeah, okay. Never mind. So yeah, I could, in the process of refining lumber, I could perhaps have another pokey again. And I actually still have the ranch here. It's still sitting right here. The This is not a ideal range for Pokespawn though, because of the egg. Well, I mean, there's auto sweepers, so I don't know. Maybe it'd be fine. I'll have to think about that. Oh, and here you go. Again, the heat delete gold train. Getting all that beautiful gold for free. Okay, I have enough calories that I'm going to disable my electric grill. We're finally starting to add the bunker tiles over here. And once they all get added, once I have full coverage, I will delete everything in the middle. Let me just cancel that dig zone, but I'll eventually dig this all out once these bunker tiles are built. How's my space mission? So it's just a cycle and a third away. That's not too long. My petroleum seems to be, yeah, it's fine temperature. It's cold, but I could always replace it with supercoolant if it ever froze or whatever. But I'm not that worried about it. I think it will be fine. All right, so if I have my mindset on the, oh yeah, there you go. Another thing is if I'm setting that up, it might be worth my time to add some additional suit docks here. Because if I have more people doing work over there, it does stand to reason I'm going to need more suits. So, furniture. What am I trying to do here? Furniture. I'm trying to make it prettier. Also. Because I can. Okay. Do this on 8. I do think I have some additional Atmo suits. Let me check. Clothing. I might need to make one or so. But let's have plenty of docks. So I definitely don't run into a lack of suit dock situation. And that does mean that I'm going to need to make a few more. So that would be the exosuit forge. Because I'm only making a few. Honestly, it would be ideal if it was here. So let's see if I can't reroute that gas vent a little bit. I want it to be on a, you know, on a power line that can support it. Okay, this is looking good. Now, the other thing is, oh, you know what? I'm going to want the ladder here, actually. So the other thing is it produces carbon dioxide. So as a result of producing carbon dioxide, I'm going to want to double liquid lock it because it's going to fart up the joint, I guess is the way to put it. And it will eventually overpressurize it. I'm going to have to do something to delete the carbon dioxide. But for now, I'm just going to have it spill into a room that is airtight. And it looks, I'll have to mine this out, but it looks like Operation Spill the Water is just about ready to go. We have a pretty clear path down. And I might want to sort of direct the water to the right here. So I'll work on that. The water actually might flood these deodorizers, but I mean, if they do, no big deal. Okay. The refinery still going. How's my steel amount? Okay. It definitely could be improved. I don't have... Oh, you know, it's because I just made these bunker doors. And it looks like the space mission is coming home. No debris on the landing pad. That's good. Space mission's complete. As you can see, the space scanner already detected it. And this, if I am not mistaken, is... I like how Paddy Wagon just like ran past the rocket as it landed. This should be the last research mission I run. But before I break down the space rocket, let's put this to 0 and 0 and 0. Before I break down the space rocket, I want to just make sure. Hey, we found a tornado rock. Cool. Let's put that somewhere. Put it on our weird pedestal of trying to make our transit look nice. Sure, why not? Okay, still waiting. Oh, there they go. There they go. And in fact, in some ways, I can actually utilize all of this space up here as long as I create some sort of physical barrier over this way. It should be fine to use this area for refining this here. So actually, I could have put the ladder. Well, no, this is vacuum for heat purposes. But I could have put the ladder basically where the auto sweeper is right now. In fact, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to just move this auto sweeper. So what is it made out of? Lead. I'm going to plop my auto sweeper there and sort of keep changing my mind. Because why not, right? Because this is honestly the ideal ladder location. Because it's closest to where the action's going to be. And then if the auto sweeper's here, it means I can actually put some more bins back. I probably want to keep that for possible future Weesports. But yeah, it does open some extra options up to me, so I like it. All right, so this petroleum was petroleum that we extracted from the ship because we have these gangplanks that allow us to empty out the fuel tanks manually. We have printables. I guess I'll print up Pipsqueak and capture it. I don't want it dumping out my storage bins or whatever. No thanks. All right, so these aren't configured. I'm just gonna, for now, tell them to leave empty. So I kind of don't want to deal with that. And then the insulated gas pipes are gonna have to make a different kind of run here. All right, let's do this 9 so I can ignore that suit dock. And this vent was moving so that I could put a exosuit over there. Oh, this looks good. This is coming along. There's a lot of iron up here. We can melt that iron and make steel. All right, then this, I can have plastic ladders just to speed up the movement so that we refine faster. I was, as you could tell, adding a whole lot of plastic in the ranches just to speed guys up. And, well, that's a good trend, so we'll keep that up. Research is now complete. Yes, so I was right. That was the last of the research I need. As you can see, now we have cryofuel combustion. Meaning that I have completed the entire research tree. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, all of this is going to go. And then the gantries. And, the buttons. Because the whole ship is going to be significantly redesigned. As you will see soon. I hope I didn't, let me make sure I didn't actually break any pipes. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Obviously, I'm going to have to reroute these pipes. But, yeah, that's very, very cool that we basically finished that off. So, for us to break down the research sections, we'll have to add little ladders here so we can actually reach them. And let's go ahead and make this my 9 project. So I can start retooling for a cargo rocket. And then I also want to raise my bunker doors up a little bit higher than they were previous. So I'm going to make those 9s as well. The big old new 9. And there goes the Interstellar Wanderer 10. Oh, also disable this. Actually, make that an emergency. Now that the Interstellar Wanderer 10 doesn't exist, this space scanner kind of bugs out. And forces the door open until there's a... Come on, someone flick it. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, until we actually have a new rocket, I need to keep that off. I really, what I need to do is to have some sort of failsafe here. Because this is an OR gate, not an AND gate. I don't know, it should be, it doesn't matter. It's such a one-off that it's not a big deal. I like how I broke down my gantry before I actually broke down the tanks here. Like, good job, me. You know, that's real smart. Alright, so this petroleum here should just, for now, bypass the loop. And then I will probably want to stop sending coolant for a moment. So let me, what is the temperature that this is reading? 58, let's do 50. And have it circulate back for a bit. Just so that I can break down these pipes without leaking petroleum everywhere. That will make my life a little easier. Okay, as we are building higher bunker doors, a few things will be obvious. One, I need to change the route of power. But the thing is, I might power them up from a different wire. This wire here, because this wire here won't have power supply problems. Let's see here. And then, obviously, I can break down a whole lot of this old stuff. Netting me a lot more resources, too, in the process. I'll be able to break down these old bunker doors as well. So, what I suppose what we could have decided is I could have decided to leave, essentially, my command capsule where it was. Well, I probably want the command capsule up here. But we'll work backwards and figure out exactly where it should go. So as far as power goes, let's go back to conductive wire. It's to steel. This steel cable comes up, powers up all these bunker doors, so that we don't have power shortages on the bunker doors. Cool. Well, that's the start of a cargo rocket. So working backwards, let's do this. Working backwards, we have the command module. We'll put it here. Then we'll have cargo bays, 1 and 2. Right? 1, 2. And then under the cargo bays, we're going to need 2 fuel tanks. So oh man, I've already forgotten. So let me paint this somehow. I wish there was like a plan mode or something. I wish it would let me put it in. So this here is my command capsule. Then we'll have 2 cargo bays. So 1 cargo bay comes down to here. And then I'm not very good at this, as you can tell. So cargo bay, and then another cargo bay comes down to just above that ladder. Okay. And then we'll have 2 liquid fuel just above that ladder too. Liquid fuel. I'll have another liquid fuel. And then a solid fuel. As you can see, these rockets are significantly shorter. And then at the bottom of that, we'll have the petroleum engine. Meaning that my steel bunker tiles for the launch are right there. Cool. Meaning that this can be destroyed. Nice. So we're definitely launching from a lot higher up, and that essentially means that my other launch tube really only needs to accommodate this level of height here. So forget this cable. I don't need it. And let's get everything about this new project built. Big old paint there. I'd like to get the rocket underway so that Sine Curve can start collecting space materials. So the plan here is to go to the metallic asteroid for my primary rocket, which has fullerene and isoresin, and then to go to maybe yeah, maybe this oily asteroid, or no, actually probably this. Yeah, probably this carbon asteroid for the niobium and isoresin and diamond and all that carbon, refined carbon. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna have 2 missions getting all 3 required space age materials that I want. All right, guys. So get crack-a-lackin'. I'll start breaking down the old launch pad. Now, I don't want to repurpose all this space because eventually I'm going to want a hydrogen rocket to go to the temporal Terra. So it wouldn't really make sense to scrap everything that I have laid out here. I just want to start prepping for the next launch. Okay, these automation wires get broken down and replaced. And then, I'm going to redesign this a little bit, actually, to be exactly the way I want it to be, which is something like this. We'll have OR gates. Here and here. Maybe I'll put them like that. I like that. Yep. And then signal switches. And then this here will be an AND gate. So this space scanner, I'm going to need 2 space scanners, obviously. 1 for each rocket. So whatever automation wire I'm putting in is probably wrong right now. Oh, no, it's fine. Because it will just be for the 1. But we want to cancel it there. And then I want some sort of failsafe. So over here will be like a failsafe off switch. So automation wire and gate. And then this is a failsafe switch to make sure that the space scanner, when the rocket is being retooled or whatever, doesn't blow itself up, etc., etc. All right. Obviously, I'm going to have to mine some of this junk that's in the way. So, yeah, this switch opens up the gates no matter what. And this switch, if off, will keep the doors from opening. If on, will let the doors open. I do have a RoboMiner overheating, and that is because I haven't been running coolant because I was breaking this down. So, excuse me, let me make this my 9 priority, and then everything else my 8s. Because, yeah, we're wasting steel right now. And in fact, I can start the coolant travel now. Let's do 75C. Because it's not going to reach this piping quickly. And we already have someone breaking it down. Perfect. So we dump heat in a height of 9 here. So below 9, I can actually have ladders that cross over. Because they won't heat up. Cool. Alright, new printables. Pinch of pepper seed, sure. Or gate and gate. Good. Alright, let's connect these up. How's my coolant coming? Must have come because, well, no, it just got repaired. Where's that coolant? There it is. All right, good. That should be the last of that damage. Now, if I've done my math right, I will have a petroleum engine here, except for I need to make it. Oh, no, it's just because this ladder's in the way. I believe. Yep. All right, that's good. I don't know what those deconstruct errands are. Yeah, I didn't actually mean to deconstruct that, so that's good that I caught that. All right. Then above that, we are going to have the solid oxidizer tank. And then above that, we'll just keep going up and up and up. I am going to need gantries, of course. I'll put them in once we're done. And I might need to move my ladder over for the gantries so that the gantry can't get destroyed by said rocket. Please tell me I've measured right. I didn't measure twice. So... And here's old gantry stuff that I don't need anymore. So I'll break that down. All right, so now I should be able to re-enable... Oops, that doesn't need to be emergency. I should be able to re-enable this space scanner, and it won't open the gates up because of my failsafe. So I have an AND gate, which this switch is a like a failsafe, and then I have an OR gate, which allows me to open these up manually anyway. And here is proof. You know, this is trying to send a green signal because it's like meteor shower, but I have it fail-safed over here with this fail-safe signal switch. So, voila is all I have to say about that. And I am going to need another space scanner. I'm going to need to replicate all of this for the other launch. But that's totally non-issue. I'll get that soon. All right, so there's my liquid oxidizer tank. Now we need liquid fuel tanks, 1 and then eventually 2. And then another thing I'm going to want is my cargo rockets. I want to be made of ceramic because why not? So let's make, I don't know, 25 ceramic. I cannot believe they haven't gotten this. Oh, because it's 8s. It's like, yeah, this project I've been waiting on for a good long time and nobody has done it. All right, yeah, my petroleum's fine. The hydrogen is about to freeze itself. This should be 9. I can start breaking down these old bunker doors. So now if I wanted to open up, I could say, hey. Oh, because it's not detecting any. Yeah. If I wanted to open up, I could say, flick this. It opens, but I don't want it to open. All right, so there's the liquid fuel tank. Then let's do another liquid fuel tank up above it. And eventually I'll have parallel launch tubes when we get around to it. All right, there's my 2 liquid fuel tanks. Now let's do cargo bays. And I already have enough ceramic, I could tell, but... I'm excited. Oh, you know what? I am going to move this. I think everything's going to need to budge a little bit to the right. All right, there's 1 cargo bay. I'm going to do 2 cargo bays. Now, with these cargo bays, one thing, actually, before I do that, one thing that we need to do is conveyor rails. So I'm going to need to conveyor my items out of these cargo bays. It's a requirement of the rocket. So we'll need little conveyor rails that drop my stuff off to this mesh tile that's going to sit here. So we'll build this first before I add another cargo bay because of access issues. Because it's hard, you know, you can't reach some of this if the other cargo bay is built. But sadly, oh no. Lead auto sweeper is dead. I'll have to make that in something else. Sadly, I am out of time. So my first cargo mission launch is definitely going to have to be for next episode, but that's going to be my focus. My focus will be to acquire fullerene, niobium, and iso resin for the molecular forge, which I haven't built yet. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you next episode. Adios.